Yes.
Well, we seem to be streaming, so I might just go ahead. Tiffani Higgins is here with us today, and she is the creator of a company called Have Your Cake and Eat It Too, and she's got a course called the Bookkeeping Course for Stay-at-Home Parents. And although she has told me that there's definitely a lot of folks who are not necessarily parents, but they are interested in the work from home life. So, and I just want to preface this interview by saying this interview and any others that we do are my effort to help y'all make that education choice. I took a course. I did not take Tiffani's course. I took Bookkeeper Business Launch, but it's hard to decide when you have to make this big investment. So I thought the best way was just to go straight to the source and have Tiffani answer some questions about us. I think that as y'all get to know her, many of you might find that she'll be the perfect fit for you as you launch. So I just want to be clear that I am an affiliate for her course. I will toss up my link now in the comments as well, so you can go to see all of her course offerings. But I don't want to try to push things on people that I don't really personally know. That's important to me. So anyway, now we're gonna dive in with Tiffani, and I would love for you to just introduce yourself, Tiffani.
All right.
Your background.
Thank you so much for putting this live together. Appreciate it. And it's super awesome of you too to have this group going and provide so much, free support to everybody and allow them all to collaborate. So it's definitely something that we need in the bookkeeping and accounting community to all kind of band together and help each other out, because there are tons of clients out there for everybody. So we definitely don't have competition among each other, I don't feel. But yeah, so my name's Tiffani Higgins. I was in everyone's similar shoes about 5 years ago when I started up my bookkeeping business. I guess it was about 4.5 years ago. And it grew really, really fast, surprisingly. I was just planning on picking up a couple of clients so I could stay home with my third child. And before I knew it, my husband was quitting his job. So
wow.
Yeah, it was really exciting. And so I really kind of leveraged a lot of different people and had some really awesome mentors during the whole process. And I sold my bookkeeping business in January. And I was actually going to go into a different route. Everyone tells you, you need to niche down and create a specialty so you can charge more and work less. So that was kind of my goal originally, selling my business in January and going into a specialty. And as I was doing that, I had a girl that was pretty new to bookkeeping. She had her accounting degree and she'd worked at a CPA firm for a year, but didn't really have any other experience beyond that. So she was doing some administrative work for me, and she had a young baby at home and didn't really want to work more. So she told me she was going to start up a business on the side. And I thought, that's perfect for her to be able to do that at home.
Yeah.
And then I was right there with all of my experience to be able to help her. So the more I thought about it, the more I thought that, I could do that for other people too. Because really, when you think about bookkeeping, comparative to working as a W-2 employee for somebody else, where you're maybe making like $40,000 or if you're lucky, $50,000 a year, and you're gone away from your kids 50, 55 hours a week, counting your lunch and commute and things like that. So you really only need about maybe 5 to 10 clients, to bring in the same amount and work a lot less. So that's kind of where I started with it, and decided to kind of create a course designed specifically for people that were like that really wanted to either work less and transition to working from home, or they want to make more money working the same amount of hours that they were working. So I took everything that I learned over the last 4 years of owning my business and put it together in a course that I'm constantly improving and updating. And I also offer support to people as well. So you don't just go through the course and then figure it all out on your own. I do continuous support. So in our support group, we do Zoom calls 3 times a week. And we talk about all things from marketing to actually doing screen shares and working through some client questions and client work. So it's kind of like however much support you want and need, it's there for you. So.
Wow, that's awesome. So I think you kind of answered this question about what motivated you to create this course, but maybe you can just kind of go, so you helped that one friend.
Hmm.
Explain more about that fork in the road where you didn't niche in your own business, actual bookkeeping business, but instead created this other business to be able to help people.
Yeah, yeah. So, well, when I first started out, it was, it's probably all of you are thinking the same thing too. It's hard to say, yes, I'm gonna niche down and turn all these other people away. So I always wanted to do a niche or a specialty, but it's hard to say no when you just want clients and you want money
Right.
coming in. So when I did decide to go down the path of, really niching in, I actually chose the cannabis industry to focus on. And it was great, and it's been great, but as running a CPA firm is a lot of work and kind of took me away from my vision of being able to work from home and be with my kids and stuff like that. So deciding to go to the route where now I can be a coach, I can live more of a lifestyle that I wanted to live, and then also teach other people how to do that too. So that's kind of why I ended up not continuing on with my niche.
Okay, well, so now let's dive into the actual course. You said a little bit, there's like webinars and stuff, but say someone buys your course, what are they getting?
Yeah, so I have a couple of different options now, but if you join in and enroll in the full course, you're going to get 9 modules of information. I'm going to pull it up here too, so I can make sure I don't leave anything. Um, the first module talks about, let's see, I'm going to look real quick, just so that I don't forget anything. Module 1 is talking about learning the basics. So like accounting 101, balance sheet basics, income statement basics. If you already know this stuff, you can probably skip that module. It's very basic and doesn't go into a ton of detail because you kind of learn all of that stuff as you go and as you get clients and do the work. But it gives you the baseline knowledge to kind of understand debits and credits and the accounting equation and all that stuff. Module 2 talks about QuickBooks Online. That's the only program that I use, and so that's the only program I teach on. So if anybody prefers to use Xero or other programs, might not be the best fit because I only use QuickBooks. I only use QuickBooks Online.
No
So
desktop at all,
I
either.
don't use desktop, but I have had a lot of experience. I've used it for about 19 years prior to switching.
Okay.
So if people are using desktop or they need to switch from desktop to online, I can definitely train them and help them on that.
Okay.
Yep, yep. But I don't like Xero, so I don't use that one at all.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah. So, and then module 3 kind of talks about how to set up your bookkeeping business all in one day. So a lot of people that have already started have probably done some of that, but I do have a lot of partner programs that I have utilized over the years that were really beneficial in creating additional revenue streams in addition to just bookkeeping. So a lot of that stuff is in there as well. Talking about different partnerships that you can leverage in your business.
Okay.
Module 4 talks about onboarding your first client, basically like the sales conversation and everything you need to do to totally streamline that process and get that person from an interested lead into a signed client and what you need to gather from them to really get started on the work. And of course, always getting paid up front is definitely something that I preach quite a bit.
Okay.
Module 5 talks about completing the work after you've onboarded them, what it looks like for the back work and ongoing from month to month, and running financials and understanding, what that looks like and what your clients are going to expect from you. Module 6 kind of goes over tax basics, so you understand a little bit of the differences when you're working with someone that's just a sole proprietorship to somebody that is an S Corp or a C Corp. So it kind of goes over just the basics that you need to know as a bookkeeper so that you can have an idea of when to say, hey, you might want to talk to your tax accountant about this kind of thing. And then Module 7 talks all about marketing, constantly adding new marketing tips and strategies in there. Most things that I teach are free. I never used any kind of paid advertising or marketing when I was growing my business, with the exception of an in-person networking group. It's pretty much the only thing I ever paid for.
Okay.
I grew mine. And then module 8 is all about mindset. And what I'm finding is that's the hardest part for pretty much everybody that's starting out, is getting into the right mindset, understanding the ups and downs of being a business owner, and that it's totally normal to feel that way. But you can't let yourself sit in it. You got to push past it and keep going, and just really dealing with how to stay motivated, how to avoid that imposter syndrome, and really, be positive and be in the right mindset for abundance and bringing clients your way and things like that. So talk a lot about that. And then in the support group, we do the Zoom calls 3 times a week, and those are all recorded, and any confidential or sensitive information gets edited and blurred out, but then all those recordings are uploaded into module 9. So even if you're not in the support group, you still can watch all the recorded calls.
So are you like actually doing like screen shares in books where you can, like, I could, as a student, I could watch like, oh, that's how you add a bill, or stuff like that?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. That's super valuable, because sometimes it's like that nitty gritty that, you read the QuickBooks help article,
Right.
but then to see like, oh no, it's usually always easier than you make it out to be, when someone who knows what they're doing shows you. I found I can take an hour to try to figure it out myself, or ask someone who knows to show me.
Yeah,
So.
exactly. That's kind of my approach with it. You can definitely figure out all of this on your own. You can figure out everything in my course. You can figure out everything we talk about in the support group all on your own. This just saves you a ton of time. And it's also kind of, I know for a lot of my students, it's like a weight off their shoulders, knowing that if a client asks them a question, and they don't have to feel scared or on the spot or anxious, because even if they don't know, they know they have people to come ask. So, and I feel like I've seen it all, being in business for the last 4 years. I'm sure that I haven't, but it feels that way. So, yeah, it's just kind of nice to have somebody to ask questions to.
So yeah, everyone, I just was listening. This is not specific to Tiffany's course, but this concept of like saying, I don't know, but you know that you can figure it out. That is a good place. That's a good line to be able to say when you're in this business. Do not pretend that you know everything, because your clients are going to see through that. So even Tiffany is going to have, things she might not know. And like she said, she was using desktop for 19 years. So she's clearly been around the block, and there'll be things that even the most experienced person has to be like, let me get back to you on that. So that's just the advice for anyone, whether you take a course or not. Okay, well, so is there anything else about the course? Did you get to a module 9? I can't remember.
Yeah, module 9 is the recorded Zoom calls.
Okay, that's right. And I know you actually have like a couple of different levels of courses. Would now be a good time to talk about that?
Yeah, sure. So I do sell like the marketing module separately, and Learn QuickBooks Online module separately. Boston, do you want to say hi real fast?
Hello, friend.
Joys of working from home. And I have a new mini course that I think everyone would be really interested in. It is a walkthrough of a full year's worth of books from scratch. So using QuickBooks Online to import all of the transactions from 3 checking accounts and from a credit card, putting them all in, and then importing them into QuickBooks and doing the whole process. So I walk them through the whole process, telling them how to code everything, a lot of efficiency tips, because I'm an efficiency expert. So I use QuickBooks Online as efficient as possible. So got a lot of workarounds in there. But it's also, as a bonus, it's actually my business books from 2018. So you can actually see exactly what my business brought in and what I made, and how to even tie the balance sheet to the tax return from 2017. So really get to see the whole thing, but it also kind of just shows you how much you can make doing this, what your business really could look like. And I didn't have any payroll or employees, just my own payroll for myself. So you can really, make good money.
Make some good money, yeah.
Yeah, without needing employees.
Okay, so you have the whole package within some people who, maybe they know QuickBooks and just want kind of believe in what you say about the marketing side, could just get the
Yeah.
marketing piece. So that's
Mm-hmm.
cool. And so all that can be found at the Teachable site.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yep. Using the affiliate link, you should be able to click on any of that.
Perfect. And I have a few more questions for Tiffani, but I also want to chime in and say, if anyone has any questions, feel free to type them in the comments section and we will get them. As far as I can tell, no one's asked one yet. So if you have, we haven't gotten it, and try again. Okay, Tiffani, what sort of student is most successful in your course? And then conversely, are there any potential students that you found maybe are not a good fit for your potential course, your course?
Yeah. So far, what I found to be the most successful students that go through my group are the ones that are really determined to quit their job. So you have to really keep focusing on your why. I have like a student that has missed out on a lot of her daughter's activities because of her job and the commute that she has. And so every day she wakes up and thinks about that. She listens to motivational stuff on the way to work and, helping her reach those goals and trying to figure out how to balance working full time and finding clients and still being able to be there for her daughter. Those are the ones that I feel like I'm able to help a lot because I understand the struggles of balancing it all.
Right.
And I can really relate to her feelings. So,
okay.
Yeah, I'd say those are my most common clients are ones that are really wanting to be back home with their kids and connect more as a parent. Yep, and trying to juggle it all and make that transition. So,
any folks that aren't a good fit? It's an awkward question.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you have to be coachable, and you have to have an open mind. I know a lot of people struggle with the roadblocks in limiting beliefs and things like that. But I think just having an open mind and knowing that there's more ways to do it. But this is just the way that I teach. So you can kind of take the pieces from what I teach and make it your own and do it however you want. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's people that would probably rather work with maybe somebody more manly. I don't know.
Okay. Well, you do keep saying, feminine pronouns. Do you find that men are a good fit for your group? I mean, I know there are some people who work a business strictly on targeting women, so that's fine if not. What are your comments on that?
Yeah, I have a handful of dads and even a couple of grandparents, grandpas in there.
Okay.
Yeah, and so they seem to do really well too. I don't talk specifically to moms, but the majority of people that are in my group are moms. And I do target my marketing towards moms just because I can relate to that so much more.
Okay.
But yeah, and I've got quite a few husband and wife teams in there as well. So
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I had something, it went in my brain. Okay. So this kind of goes back to, so I took Bookkeeper Business Launch, and the one criticism I've heard of the course, because I think a lot of people I've never heard anything bad, except there's been one criticism that for someone who might just want to go work for someone else, like who maybe realizes after they purchase the course that they don't want to be an entrepreneur, that course that I took is not really set up to help people. It's not geared towards people who want to be a bookkeeping employee. Mm-hmm. It's your course, and that's a fine way to go. I mean, there are some people who don't want the stress. I mean, like you said, all the limiting beliefs and all the fear, like, y'all, that stuff is real. Like, it is hard to be your own business owner. You have no one give you feedback. Your husband doesn't actually get it, even if he's awesome and wants to give you a hug. Like, yeah. It's real. The entrepreneurial side. And there's a reason why most people in America are employees, not employers, and that's fine. So I guess if someone knows that they just want to, get hired as a contractor for someone else, your course, not your course, what do you think?
Probably the mini course would be really great for them.
Okay, which mini course?
It's the one where it walks through the full year of my books, doing the bookkeeping from scratch. That would probably teach them the most wide array of stuff. Like the full course really focuses more on being a business owner and how to come at it from a business perspective. But the mini course would be good for people that just want to understand how to do the whole process from start to finish. And then, yeah, I mean, I would always recommend getting your QuickBooks Pro Advisor too if you want to be an employee for someone.
Okay.
Those two things would probably make you pretty prepared to go in and work for someone.
Awesome. Okay, so I hope everyone's heeding that. Can you share one of your favorite student success stories?
Yeah, so Megan, she just had a Facebook Live in my group yesterday or the day before. She started the program. She bought it when I first launched back in May, and she admitted that it was about June 25th before she really even started going through the modules because she was scared and nervous and didn't think she could do it. And of course, when I started out, I didn't realize that being a mindset coach was going to be the biggest role that I would have to take on, helping encourage people to be brave and do it. But once she finally decided to do it, she had her first client in 3 weeks.
Okay.
And she is only about 2 to 4 clients away from quitting her job. So she started, I would say her first client was mid-July. So it's just a couple of, like, not even 3 months, and she's that close to quitting her job. So
that's a great story. All right, one question I have is about cost. How much does your course cost as of October 2nd, 2019? What are the costs?
My the full course costs $997, or you can do 3 payments of $399. And once you get the full course, you also get access to the mini course for free. And so you basically have access to everything that I offer. And then if you enroll in the full course, you can also join the support group, but that's separate. It's $49 a month. So people just add and cancel that anytime, and they can join anytime. They can stay in as long as they feel it's helpful. Support group is only for people that have enrolled in the full course, though.
Okay. I have a couple questions here from the group. Melanie asks, when purchasing the course, do you get access to your group forever, or is there an expiration, such as the Zoom calls and the ask questions and the guidance? So what's the time frame?
Yeah, so the course, you have forever access to it, including all upgrades. So I'm constantly going in and adding stuff and new tutorials and tips and things like that. And the marketing section's always growing. And of course, the Zoom section's growing every time we have Zoom calls. So you have access to that forever. And if you're in the support group, you can just pay when you want to join and stay in there as long as you want to join too. So.
Okay. Nisa asks, is the mini course or the marketing sections available for purchase separately, or is it all part of the full course?
Yep, you can purchase the other stuff separately through that Kate's affiliate link too.
But if they purchase the full course, then they get everything you offer. There's nothing excluded from the full course purchase except that mentoring group?
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And so I guess I'm just going to dig in here. So if I purchase the course, I get the portal, and it has the Zoom calls in it, as module 9, you said.
Yep.
Now and then I pay for 3 months of the mentoring group, and let's say I even have my own like question session with you, and so I'm even maybe on the Zoom calls.
Yes.
Let's say I then after 3 months don't want the course. I'm still able to listen to all those Zoom calls. I just don't get that live participation and ability to ask my own questions.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. What kind of student community do you have?
You mean like size-wise, or?
Sorry, no, like just, are people helping each other? Is there a Facebook group that's different than the mentoring webinars?
Yep, I have a free Facebook group that's called Have Your Cake and Eat It Too, and we have close to about 5,000 people in there now.
Okay.
It's a lot of people that want this to work for them. Some of them have bought the course and haven't joined the support group yet. Some of them are just still thinking about it, or they're on the fence, or they're, researching, do I want to become a bookkeeper type of thing. And I do lives in there 3 times a week, and usually have some kind of guest speaker or a student that's in the support group come on and kind of share their experiences. And then I also have the other group, which is the paid support group, and it's called Piece of Cake support group. And yeah, that's the one that has all the students that actually want to participate in the live Zoom calls. And both groups are super supportive. I even had several students have mentioned that they're so surprised with that many women together, because most of them are women, that nobody's hateful or catty or starting fights. Everyone has been so supportive about it and just helping each other, and it's been a wonderful community, both the free and the paid group.
Awesome.
I really enjoy it.
If you have any more questions, now's the time to answer. I'm going to put the link to her site up again, so you can see all the courses. Anything I've left out, Tiffani, in terms of stuff you would like to talk about?
I think maybe the only other thing I would mention is I haven't seen BBL or the Bookkeeping Life courses at all.
Okay.
I don't know really how mine compares to theirs. And I don't think BBL offers like ongoing support like I do. I don't know if the Bookkeeper Life one does. I think that's probably the one thing that kind of maybe sets me apart from them a little bit.
Okay.
But I do also plan on continuing to grow the course and the information in the course until it is, you know, comparable to BBL as far as from just the course standpoint. So
sure.
Whenever people come in, and I think BBL's like this as well, when whatever price point you buy it and there's improvements to the program, you don't have to pay anything extra for that. You just have access to it. So that's one thing that my course is doing as well.
Awesome. Yeah, that's kind of been my experience with the course. I think that's, you know, fair, and people are, you know, taking a little bit of a risk with the newer course, but I think there could be really high payoff. I just like to kind of go back to something you said at the beginning, where when people take your course, it feels like a weight's lifted off their shoulders. So that's kind of how I felt when I started my like education journey for this line of work over 2 years ago now. Like when I woke up at 5 in the morning, because I knew I had about 2 hours before my kids woke up, I didn't waste any time. I knew, because I had a course, I knew exactly what I was doing when I fired up that computer. And I didn't have time to spend 30 minutes thinking, am I going to form my business today? Am I going to learn a little QuickBooks today? Am I going to decide between QuickBooks and Xero today? Like, yeah. I just did what I was told, because that was the phase of life that I was in. And like you said, everything that I learned and everything that you're going to teach can be learned for free. But sometimes that investment in that coach, whether it's you or someone else, is worth it, just from the amount of wasted time that weight off of your shoulder. Like it was great. And I could see my progress. And I knew I was like going somewhere, instead of like, oh, I researched something for 3 days that turns out I never needed to do.
Yeah.
I didn't do any of that once I made an investment in training. So
yeah, and it's just nice to have somebody say, you don't need to worry about that. Move on to the next thing.
Exactly. Yeah, that you're just putting off the hard work of actually being a business owner and going to get clients, which is hard, you know. I mean, you gotta do stuff that's uncomfortable, and so to have someone to say like, just go do it, you will survive.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's another thing. You reminded me of something as well. I really coach my students to, my module 3 is setting up your bookkeeping business in 1 day. So wow. I want them to speed through that process, and don't take 3 weeks to set up your website. Don't, take a lot of time to decide what you want your domain to be and blah, blah, blah. So just do it, because the most important part of this whole piece is getting paid, finding clients so you can make money. So that's really, really why I created the support group, so that everyone could Zoom through the course, find that client. Because what I'm seeing is every single one of my students has at least 1 to 2 contacts in their current circle of friends that want to hire them. Almost everybody is finding their first couple of clients just from their current Facebook friends,
right?
Or, some kind of acquaintance that they know. So go ahead and capitalize on that. Get them on start making money right away, and I will walk you through everything you need to do to help that client in the best way possible. And it's the same month after month after that. So I think that's why I'm so excited about this, because some of the parents that I help, they only want 5 clients so that they can, you know, maybe work like 6 hours a week and spend the rest of the time with their kids. So they don't need to know everything about everything in the bookkeeping world. They need to know how to help those 5 clients really well. That's it. So that's what I get excited about, just helping them learn that. And then they can build on it later. They can learn more. They can, you know, keep doing continuing education as time allows. But at least then they're probably bringing in $1,500 a month helping those 5 clients. And
right. Yeah, for me, as I kind of look at my like parenting journey, the reason I started 2 years ago was because 4 months after I started going down this path, my youngest kid was going to be in preschool 3 days a week. And lots of people will be able to, if you take a really long-term view, because this is not a quick buck, people. I mean, you're not gonna make a ton of money in a month. You know, there's other ways to do that. But if you have a longer term view and you're like, okay, if you know, in a year, if I can have 5 clients, or in half a year I can have 5 clients, that'd be great. And then pretty soon, you know, you're looking back 10 years from now and your business is maybe bigger than you ever thought it was going to be, but that's because you've managed your life and your family has changed in ways that you couldn't have imagined. So it's a great flexible business, and you can like ramp back, like, oops, got the extra kid that I wasn't expecting. You know, maybe you cut back for, you know, and you just kind of maintain more bare bones. Maybe you get rid of some clients and then you could grow the whole thing again. I mean,
or sell it.
Yeah, or sell it. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, when you sell a bookkeeping business, you usually get 1 times revenue, especially if you're set up with recurring revenue. So it's a pretty nice to be able to do that.
Awesome. All right, I got a couple of questions here. Michelle asked, is this course self-paced?
Yes, it is self-paced, so you can watch it in little segments and pause it and come back to it whenever you can. So it's kind of perfect for, you know, being interrupted with little kids or whatever. So
right. And Melanie asks, do you provide guidance in pricing? It seems that's where most new owners struggle from what I've seen.
Yep. Yeah. So I had a lot of luck with putting things into certain packages, and there's a lot of different ways that you can do bookkeeping for businesses. And I found a really special area for me was to just help people be prepared for tax time. So we don't dive into a lot of businesses that actually need like accrual accounting or things like that. So it's mostly just cash basis bookkeeping. And so it's pretty easy to put that in to packages. And so I had a lot of luck with that growing my business. I could really onboard quite a few people at a time, just lumping them into packages. So, but yes, we go over the pricing in the course, and we talk about that a lot in the support group.
All right. Well, we got one more question. Let me read it real quick.
Awesome.
Is that Brandy asks, is there guidance for how to bring a client on, including what information you need to get from them, reviewing their books, the engagement contract?
Yep. Module 4 walks all through that, talks like initial conversation, how to kind of win them over as a client. We have lots of different options on how to do that. And then once they say, yes, that all looks good, there's a whole set of procedures that are outlined in the course on exactly what you should do and what order to streamline that whole process and get started right away. So, but the number one thing is to getting the engagement letter and the bank draft authorization signed before moving on to any other steps, because you got to get paid first in this industry.
All right. Well, I think I'm going to wrap this up. Tiffani, unless there's anything else you want to say, I think this has been super informative. I thank you for your time, and I know you're busy and you're really growing this and helping a lot of people. So
trying.
If this helps, I've kind of fallen into managing this bookkeeping side hustle group, but I want to provide good information, and I hope people think this is good information. If you have any other questions, folks, just tag Tiffani in our side hustle group, and she's there and she can answer. And there are current students as well that I'm sure would be able to chime in too. So
yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, guys, we're going to wrap up, and I'm going to toss the link to the course one more time. And otherwise, we're going to say goodbye and happy entrepreneuring, guys. Get out there and go make some money somehow. If it's not in bookkeeping, leave this group and go find whatever your business is. Let's all go succeed.
Yes, absolutely. All right, thanks.
Thanks,
Bye.
Tiffany. All right, bye.
Bye.